What's up, boys and girls? C. Lopez back once again with another tutorialism, and today I'm going to be looking at the beauty of imperfections. Okay, so first up, if you're a musician in a band, like you play an actual instrument, or you're like a hip hop producer or something, this video is probably going to be of no interest to you because the things I talk about probably come as second nature to you. So this is more aimed at electronic musicians because this is a subject that I see come up quite a lot in forums and on Facebook and whatnot, but I've never actually seen a video on it, so I thought I'd go ahead and make one. So this is about using imperfections like tonal imperfections and timing imperfections to add a kind of groove and humanness to your tracks. So I'm going to play through the drums here, and as you're going to see, the drums are all exactly on grid. I've added no quantize, well, I've added quantize, but I've not added any groove quantize to any of these drum elements here. So I'm going to play through them. So I've just got 4/4 kick, snare happening on the second and fourth beats. Same with the claps, open hi-hat here, or hi-hat. Got a little bit of automation going on the decay here, which is adding a little bit of interest. Got these clicks and glitches and cowbells going on, and snare fill. And just to add another dimension to the drums, I got this sample that I took from a very famous 80s movies soundtrack. And if I solo that up, you might be able to hear that there's a synth line in the background there, just playing one note, kind of Chariots of Fire style. And I use that synth as inspiration for the rest of my track, and it kind of determined where this whole track went. So I EQ'd out a little bit of the synth, but I kind of wanted to keep it as a feature or add to it. So again, just playing one note, I loaded up Diva. Why is that not playing? Solo, there we go. Loaded up Diva. Just found this preset here. I think I've reduced the cutoff a little bit. And as you can see here, we've got velocity controlling this envelope, and this envelope is controlling the cutoff filter here. So the harder I hit a note, the more the cutoff opens. So straight away that's going to add a nice little bit of variation and some, I guess, imperfections to what we're doing here. So the second thing I did was I switched this to divine mode, and then in the mode here I switched it to poly 2. Now I did that because in poly 2 mode we can start to round robin between some of these oscillator voice detune settings. So what we have in this preset basically is 3 oscillators: oscillator 1, oscillator 2, and oscillator 3 here. And these dials here control the voice detuning of each oscillator. So as I hit the first note, you see these dials detune the 3 oscillators. So this is oscillator 1, oscillator 2, and oscillator 3, and as I hit the 2 notes, you see it swaps between the 2. We can see oscillator 1 not really detuning that much between the 2 hits, but oscillator 2 is quite a lot, and oscillator 3 is also. So I'm going to move the voices up to 8, and we're going to see it round robin between these 8 different settings here. Also going to move up the detune amount and the voice drift amount. Going to move up the pulse wave variance amount quite a lot, because you can see oscillator 3 I've kind of got a pulse going on, and I'm just going to raise up the cutoff, so this is kind of going to bounce about a little bit, and the envelope as well. So basically the end result of that is, even though I'm just playing the same note, every time I hit the key it's going to play something slightly different. We're going to get little tonal imperfections. And to take this one step further, when I recorded this MIDI part in, I hit record and I just let it play for about 16 bars. Turned off record quantize before I did that, and the result was this MIDI part. So I kind of found 2 bars within that 16 bars that I recorded that I quite liked. And if we look at the MIDI part here, we can see that my timing is quite off. I was trying to play 8th notes. As you can see, some of these happen quite a lot before they were supposed to. You can see the grids here. And towards the end of the second bar, you see I'm playing a little bit after. And when I play that on its own, it sounds a little bit rubbish. But when I play the beat along with that, we get a nice little groove. So let's just compare and contrast that to the same pattern, but quantized exactly on the grid. So let's quantize that, and let's have a listen to the quantized version. It's not the same at all. So I go back to the unquantized. And to me, I don't know, that just gives it kind of a chicky type quality. You might disagree with us. If you do, let us know in the comments, but I don't know, I just kind of like that. The last thing I did to add a little bit of variance to this was use the one of the new preamps from the virtual mix rack from Slate Digital here. And what this is a preamp, but it's a response to kind of dynamic information. So it's I've got it pumped up quite a lot, so it's adding a bit of distortion type saturation, but it's not adding a uniform amount all the way through. What happens is the harder this gets hit with, well, when it gets hit with louder incoming information, it will add more distortion, and when it's hit with quieter information, it will add less distortion. And we can see this little I guess distortion, but LED lighting up here the harder I hit it. Okay, so let's have a listen to that again. Okay, so on this this idea of not quantizing stuff, I took it a little bit further, and I did the same thing on my sub bass here. Clipping a little bit there on my sub bass here. So just using an operator patch here, just using 2 oscillators, one playing a sine, the second one playing a sine, but with a longer attack on the envelope. And if I zoom in here, we can see that these notes, again, quite a lot off the grid. But these notes are actually overlapping here, and in the pitch section here, I've added some glides, so these notes are just going to glide between each other, and we're going to get this effect. And I guess the last little bit that I did was this flutter synth here. And if I open up the MIDI information on this, you can see again I'm playing these kind of broken chords, and I've not quantized them again, and all kind of off the grid. But I took this one step further, and if you can see my loop here, I'm actually looping over 3 bars and 3 measures. Again, just to add some kind of inconsistency to the track, which kind of works. So let's have a listen. I like to bring in the vocal sample on top of that. Okay, so that's it. That's using imperfections, tonal imperfections, timing imperfections, just to add a little bit of groove, a little bit of humanness to your tracks. So that's it for now. It's C. Lopez, Tutorialism. Peace.